Hey, what's up, folks? Your friend Dean here. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Just wanted to drop a quick, kind of share my quick thoughts today on specifically in relation to how you're dealing with recruiters, right? For those of you folks out there, you're actively in your job search, or maybe you're passively open to having those conversations with recruiters. So, just a few things I wanted to have you think about as you're going through your search this week. You're strategizing on how to structure those conversations and go through those conversations with recruiters. So this is coming from my perspective as someone that has worked in the recruitment industry, right? So these are not just some random thoughts. This is me sharing with you like kind of an insider's view of the things that things from the recruiter's standpoint, the recruiter's perspective, so you can apply that to your job search strategy, right? So now the first thing I want to talk about, especially of importance today, is why it's important for you to highlight skills, folks. All right, your conversations with recruiters should revolve around your skills, actual skills that they're looking for in an ideal candidate. Now, why this is important is when a recruiter, so whether this is we're talking about a staffing agency recruiter, where all my experience has been, as well as corporate recruiters, the meetings with the hiring team is usually pretty much the same, or at least very similar, in that the recruiter meets with the hiring team and they're like, okay, what do you folks need in your ideal candidate for this position? I mean, of course, they're going to discuss the project and the reasoning, the motivations behind why they actually need someone, all that stuff. Yeah, they're definitely going to discuss that. But the main topic of the conversation, at least between recruiters and hiring teams, is what skills do you need in your ideal candidate? Now that means not just the actual skills themselves, but also could be experience, right? Like maybe it's some specific type of industry experience, maybe a particular type of project and all that stuff. So that's how the conversation goes with the recruiter and the hiring team. Now, what does the recruiter do with that information? Well, the recruiter takes inventory of all those required skills, industry experience, types of projects, and all that stuff. And then they go out into the marketplace and they're like, all right, so where can I find these individuals first and foremost? How do I get in communication with them so I can qualify them and make sure there's a good mutual fit? And then potentially present them to my either if it's a corporate recruiter to my team, the hiring team, or if it's an agency, staffing agency. How can I present these? Whether I can present these individuals or individual to my client, who is the organization looking to hire. So it's very, very key, like very much, folks. The recruiter is very much focused on identifying skills, right? So that's why you'll find when recruiters are conducting their searches, whether it's on their ATS, on one of the job boards, or on LinkedIn, they're going to be looking for skill sets, right? I mean, and these are the keywords that they're going to be looking for when they're searching for your resume or for your profile. And this is not restricted just to that that part where they're actually conducting those keyword searches on the ATS or LinkedIn and all that stuff. But even in conversations, keep in mind, even though a recruiter might specialize entirely in your field or recruiting for your skills, that does not mean that they have that in-depth knowledge of your what you do on a day-to-day basis. So they're very much going to be looking out and hearing and listening for keywords, right, related to skills and skill sets that is required by the hiring team, because that is the focus of the recruiter's approach in terms of where and how they're going to find the people that they need. So anyway, the whole point of this, why I'm telling you folks this, is you need to make sure that in your conversations with recruiters, you should be accomplishing, definitely at a high level, you should be accomplishing two things, right? Number one is you need to have an understanding from the recruiter. Number one, what are the key skill sets they're looking for in an ideal candidate? You need to know what those skills are, folks, right? Before you go into speaking about all your experience and each and every one of your projects, it's just better use of your time, and you're going to save yourself a lot of breath and unnecessary, humongous, long-winded pitches that you might be putting out there. Just get an understanding of, hey, what are you looking for in an ideal candidate? What skills is your hiring team, or what skills is your client looking for in an ideal candidate for the position? That's number one. You got to establish that. The number two is, based on that, you want to highlight that part of your experience which matches those required skills, right? If they say, yeah, well, we're looking for someone who has skill set XYZ, that's what you need to focus on, folks. When you're talking about your experiences, your projects, you got to focus on those experiences, those projects, those skills that revolve around XYZ, whatever XYZ is. And this is what's going to make you that much more of an attractive potential candidate for the recruiter. Because why? You're hitting all the keywords, all those key things that they're looking for in their ideal candidate. Mistake so many people make is they talk about each and every aspect of their experience, right? Which, by the way, might very well be extremely impressive and all that. But the recruiter, as well as even I'd go as far as to say even the hiring team, they're going to be looking for relevance, folks, relevance. And with respect to the recruiter, that relevance is going to come from speaking about relevant experience as it relates to those key skill sets the recruiter is looking for on behalf of the hiring team. All right, so always keep this in mind. So again, two simple things you got to accomplish in your communication with the recruiters. Number one is, what are the key skills the hiring team is looking for in the ideal candidate? And number two is, and this is where you gotta, the task is yours, where you gotta understand, okay, based on those key things they're looking for, what aspects of my background, my experience, my projects that I've completed and accomplished, and my achievements, my accomplishments, all that stuff. Out of all that stuff, what is the relevant stuff in relation to these skills they're looking for that I can talk about? And that's what you want to emphasize in your conversations, folks. That's what you want to emphasize in your communication to keep the recruiter's interest, get their interest first and foremost, keep the interest, and increase your chances of getting presented for the position that they called you about in the first place, or that you reached out to them about in the first place. All right, so keep this in mind. Very important, folks. Very, very important. Relevance is key. So I hope that helps all of you folks in your job search. Hey, make sure you follow me on all my social media channels. You can check me out at www.dkglobaltalent.com/connect. Again, that's www.dkglobaltalent.com/connect. That site lists all my social media, other accounts. Make sure you follow me. I'm always putting out great content, and especially on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter /Periscope on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone, I go live with a weekly live stream where I talk about various job search tips and topics and strategies and all that stuff to help you folks out in your job search, right? So look, make use of today's information that I shared, implement it, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know your feedback and how things are going at your end. I'd love to hear from you and love to hear about the challenges you are facing in your job search. I'd love to cover any such topics in my future videos as well. All right. So thanks so much for watching. Have a fantastic week.